Welcome to the next episode of Wealth Strategies to Value. I'm your host, Troy Shorts, and today we have an awesome, special guest. Alonzo Coates is a client of mine. Alonzo Coates is a classmate of mine. Alonzo Coates is an amazing business owner. He's going to share with you guys today his journey of success and his journey of wealth building. All right, and he's also a husband. Can't forget that. He's an awesome husband as well. All right. So just want to introduce you, Lonzo. Just say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. And Troy, you're too kind, man. Thanks for that intro.
Hey, man, you're my dude. So I want to talk a little bit first about, basically who Lonzo is. This is what got me with Lonzo. Like, we've been friends for a long time. We've done business for a long time, but his passion is to help other entrepreneurs realize their dreams. So my point is, it's not just about Lonzo chasing wealth and building wealth. He's literally used other people's money, build his businesses, is plural, but his mission and his passion is not about Lonzo. His mission is about helping other people. So I had to have him on the show, man. I had to. So let's start at the beginning. All right. Lonzo worked at Foot Locker when we were in college. He was a manager. He went right to the top, right? Lonzo worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, right? He went right to the top. And Lonzo said, hey, man, these guys aren't paying what I'm worth. And he realized, like, listen, man, there's more out here for me. So he just had to go out and get it. So let me shut up. I'm going to let Lonzo tell the story. I'm going to shut up because I'm excited.
Well, first of all, in life, no one is successful by themselves. And my father is no longer with me here. He's in heaven. But between him and my mom, putting me in Penn State, man, and forging an iron will in my head, that hard work and perseverance and doing your best is where it's at in life. And although things may seem tough, if you have a plan and you believe in yourself and you just do business the honest way by people, you will catch on and you will have more success over time.
Yes.
And so my journey, those jobs that you talked about that I was a part of were based on my first 11 years of working out of college. The last job before I became free was at this mortgage company called Cendent Mortgage Company, actually in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. I was doing mortgage financing, and I found my passion.
I just want to touch on the word you just said, before I came free. Oh, my God. That's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Yes. I don't want to cut you off.
And when we talk about free, we're talking about freedom of mind and spirit, because you definitely have to have the freedom of mind and spirit in order to really be free in this world, And when I say free, and maybe the freedom is not the same for everybody, because everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur, But for me, I don't know, it was something about entrepreneurship that just piqued my interest. And once I found the mortgage company, or the mortgage company found me, I really found my passion. And with the aid of different people in my life, and including you, Troy Shorts and Associates, just giving me some other ways of looking at my finances and strategizing for the future. Before you know it, the future is today, man. That's like 15, 16 years ago, And so I definitely can honestly say that although I was an economics major at Penn State, you're learning all those concepts based on theory. You gave me world updated, like real life practical knowledge, and things to practice on. And I was able to use those tools. Yeah. And like I said, here I am today.
You executed.
Yes.
You executed, man. That's what you did, man. You took advantage of what was there, and you got what you wanted based on what you currently had. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's just awesome. So go ahead. I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think that once I found my passion, and everybody has a passion.
Yeah.
Everybody has a passion. Actually, your passion will make you free if you want to explore your passion enough. If you want to work hard at it, And once I found my passion, which was real estate, I just started buying up properties and within 5 or 6 years, I was actually able to not work a normal job again. And I think that was '02. I've been free for about 20 years now. Having to look back. I got buddies of mine, and you just said the right thing 5 minutes ago. I took advantage of the market. I got friends who didn't take advantage of the market. They spent all their money, and they're still working.
Yeah. Wow. So let me get this straight. You only took 5 years. So you started buying properties, and I think you said you bought 5 properties in 5 years, and you literally were able to transition from the employee, right, to the entrepreneur.
Yes. That was a different I had friends, I even had my parents tell me, Lonnie, slow down. They had never seen anybody do what I did, but it was my passion. Nobody can measure what's in your heart. And once I wrote it down on paper and more or less could prove it to myself, I really blocked everybody else out. Awesome. Because I knew that the numbers made sense. And once those numbers made sense to myself, I just went for it, man.
Listen, man, there's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind.
Yes.
There's nothing more powerful.
Exactly.
And sometimes we're so distracted by mom and dad, brothers and sisters, and we're listening to the wrong people. And it sounds to me like you listen to your heart, man.
Yes.
And now look at you. You're like a billionaire.
Right. Here we go, man. You're too kind. But my mom, and a lot of times your loved ones are just afraid for you, you know. And I got that. They had seen people in their past lose it all by making simple mistakes. Right. Financial literacy was not a big thing in my household. Education was big and forefront, but it was based on the model of getting your education and working as an employee all your life. I just felt as though that just wasn't in my wheelhouse. That giving up 45 years of my life, adult life, working for a company or working for several companies, which is not going to be for me. Wow, and so awesome. I wanted to set a legacy for myself and my family. Of excellence in a different manner.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I just want to reiterate what you said, because there are people out here that are listening to this and they think that they'll never be able to separate. And what I'm saying to people who are listening is this gentleman, 5 years, that's no time to fully replace your income and be free. Like, that is huge. So can we get into like some of the strategies that you use where, in my podcast, I always talk about using other people's money to do other things and not your own hard-earned tax dollars. So give us some examples of some stories, that you can share with some of the ways you did that.
Well, first of all, I had to sit down and I had to write things on paper in terms of where I saw myself 3 to 5 years at that time. And I had to make some difficult choices to give up some things in my life. Sometimes I had to give up that vacation. I had to give up buying that pretty car that I wanted.
Which one?
Well, I didn't have an LSX at that time.
Okay.
I had a little Honda Civic. Matter of fact, all my buddies at the job teased me because they was all leasing BMWs, and they were like, "Shark, what's going on, man? What's up with your car?" I said, "Yeah, but I'm gonna have more money than you." That's all I said. And I would be able to drive anything I want, but I had the foresight to understand that I had to give up some of the things that people want or value in order to make it through this journey.
Wow.
So I had to decide that with mortgage sales, I had to really think about really challenging myself to make as much money and maximize my potential running those phones, man, and selling mortgage financing to pay for my normal living and then set aside dollars for a property.
Wow.
And that's what I ended doing, man. I started doing it that way. And the first 2 properties were, a challenge because I threw money. Not only did I purchase them and get a mortgage on them, I put a lot of money into them. So I only believe in duplexes, multiple units. And before I knew it, I started saying to myself, I don't even have to have the pressure on me to sell as much anymore now because I got this other money coming in. Somebody else is paying my bills. And it felt good to have someone paying your bills and knowing that every month you wake up, 80% of your bills are already paid from somebody else.
Yes,
How
man.
real estate did that for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that was like corporation number one, right? So we got a couple more to go. All right. So I'm gonna fast forward to the next entrepreneurial venture that you smashed. You started a franchise, correct? No, you bought into a franchise.
I bought into a franchise. The franchise, a cleaning franchise, at Janet King. Janet King is the world's largest commercial cleaning franchising company in the world. They've got people having franchises as far as Brazil and Russia, you know. And I had a buddy of mine that was already in it. I liked the concept, and I wanted to challenge myself again. One thing I found out that once I became free, because I always thought I would be in real estate all my life. But I wanted new challenges. I like new challenges now. And once I mastered the real estate, I no longer wanted to purchase real estate because I had that paying my bills. I wanted to try my hand at something else. So I leveraged my properties to purchase the franchise.
Wait, say that one more time. You did what?
I leveraged my properties to purchase the franchise.
So that means nothing came out of your pocket.
Nothing came out of my pocket.
So that means you used the bank's money.
Yes,
to
sir.
Create a whole nother income stream, a whole nother business, a whole nother franchise, and employ other people.
Yes.
And get crazy tax benefits.
Yes. I employed as many as 30 people at one point in time.
Oh my God.
And to this day, still have a staff. Because now with the economy and COVID, I had to cut back on a couple of things because I'm into the third venture that I'm more or less putting a lot of my energy in. But I still have at least about 7 employees now. And have since paid that money back to allow me to reload to do the next venture. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope you're listening. I hope you guys are listening because it's not about what he did. It's about how he's doing it. This is so important. These are financial strategies that most people have absolutely no idea how they work. So I just really wanted to have Lonzo on my show because I wanted him to tell this story because people need to understand how this stuff really works. So it's not me just talking about money on a podcast, right? I want to be able to bring the real fruit where the rubber meets the road. And I want to just shut up. Again, let me shut up. I'm sorry. I'm talking.
Well, I tell you, Troy, the biggest, the way I know that this all works, like you said, is that the banks, as I started creating these different accounts with the banks, all they wanted to do is offer me more money. They saw the cash flow that I had accumulated in that given entity, and they allowed me to borrow against it based on the cash flow that I had created with the mortgage. Not even talking about my real estate at that point in time, a separate entity. Yeah. And so, and they still to this day are still offering me money. During the pandemic, if I wanted to get money. With
most people, right, they were losing their jobs.
Yes. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time with regards to, the medical cleaning, and it was a lucrative, I found it very lucrative for myself, able to pay my staff fairly, which allowed them to stay on board longer with me. And, one big happy family, man. Nothing like a small business, and you can take care of your people, and your people take care of you.
Awesome. So before we get into the third venture, I want to say something to you. Like, let's say there's a young person that's listening to this podcast, and he has an opportunity to maybe just meet you for lunch. He's got you for 30 minutes, and what would you say to that person who's saying, I would love to be you one day? Like Lonzo, tell me what I need to do as a 22 or 23-year-old. Like, what would you say to him in that conversation?
I would tell him you need to follow before you can ever lead.
Wow.
And the reason why I say that is because when I left Penn State at the age of 23, I didn't know half the things I know now. But those jobs that I accumulated prior to becoming free, which is about 11-year gap between graduating from Penn State to becoming free in 2002, helped me immensely. I learned all kind of sales techniques. I learned how to talk to the client. I learned how to set goals for myself and forecasts. And I learned it from people. Instead of trying to be a know-it-all and believe that I knew it all, I humbled myself and listened, because I looked for those people to guide me. And then once I was able to take over the reins for myself, I was able to then manage this thing and never have to go back to work. So the first thing I will always say is that you have to humble yourself and follow before you can ever lead. And everybody I know in history, if they've been a great leader, they've been a great follower.
Man, that is great advice, man. That is awesome advice, man. That's just that's good stuff, Lonzo.
Thanks, man.
You gotta learn how to listen and follow, right, before you can lead.
It's free, Troy. It's free.
I know you like free.
Hey, man, we all do. I know I do. But advice is free. And when it's coming from somebody that has your best interest at hand, and you're getting great tutelage because they see something in you. I mean, there's nothing like that, man. And to humble myself and take that information, because they have gone through their things in life where they wish they had listened, and they're now giving me that information, man. I ran with that information. I'm like, man, I know not to make that mistake. And it's really just as easy as just listening. And I think that's where we are in life right now. People don't listen.
Yeah.
So there's a price to pay for that.
Yeah. So I heard something from a really wise man, and he said, if you ever write the word listen down on a piece of paper and you rearrange the letters, it spells out silent.
Wow. You're right.
Isn't
wow.
that cool?
I didn't think about that. You're right.
Silent, right? Because when you have a conversation with people, they just want to blah, 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 right? And sometimes when they're talking to you, you're thinking in your head, what am I going to say next? And you can't really listen because you're thinking about how I'm going to respond to this it's a skill. It's a real skill, right? You got to learn how to listen, man. Dude.
Yeah, selling cars, being in sales, listening to what the client is looking for instead of me trying to tell them what they need.
Right.
And understanding their wants and needs, helped me out a lot in business today. There's no doubt about that.
Awesome. All right. Well, here we come. We're coming to that third mega business. All right. So we did the real estate. We killed it in the real estate, right? We did the Janet King. And I don't know if you said this, but I believe you had the #1 biggest franchise in the history of Janet King, if I'm not mistaken.
At one point in time in the Delaware Valley, I had at that point in time purchased the largest franchise at that time. It was like under $200,000. But the reason why I bring that up is because say that number is because of the fact that again, it wasn't all my money. It was I leveraged it out of the property. Everybody, I didn't have $20,000. Yeah. But I believed in the company that much and their their track record to make that move. But at that time, franchising, when it comes to housekeeping, is the lowest form of franchising. So there had never, most people who have a franchise, they're just a mom and pop, and they just do normal office work. Okay. I always looked at it as I want to always have employees. So I had a different mindset going into it, and Janet King treated me as such because I came with that kind of money.
Awesome.
That's how that happened for me.
Okay. All right. So real estate crushed it, right? Got you free. Right, Janet King crushed it, got employees, right? The whole nine, survived COVID, all that, right? Now, the third franchise or the third corporation, let's say, and this is your baby, all right? So I kind of saved this for last. So what I want you to do is I want you to tell the people about that dream you told me about. Remember the dream?
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the dream, right? Yeah. And then move forward into the reality of how this all came about.
Well, I'm a spiritual person, like I told you earlier in our dialogue, and I had a dream that God said that I was going to feed the people. This was in 2015, and I woke up from the dream, and I had several dreams in my other ventures years prior. So this just doesn't happen to me all the time. This just doesn't happen on a regular basis. But once I get those kind of dreams, it just makes me think on that. And I had been, with the franchise, I manage a medical unit where I'm in charge on this medical unit. It's a hospice unit, actually, where I have a housekeeping team and a culinary team. And I have to be certified on both sides in case employees don't show up. And I'm not a cook by trade, but I had to learn how to manage that kitchen. And it came to me that feeding the people was going to be creating my own kitchen in the future. So I was able, through actually meeting the right people, able to build a commissary space out of real estate that I already owned. I never had to purchase the real estate. It was real estate I had already owned and controlled. And I didn't even know I was going to, that the property was going to be even used that way when I purchased it in '02. That goes to show you from '02 to 2015, where I was going with this. And that's where we are today.
Okay, so what's the business called?
So the business is called Kitchen Corners. We have a website called Kitchen Corners with a K, cornerswithak.com. And basically what it is a shared use commissary space, more or less dedicated to chefs and cooks who are in the culinary sciences, looking to create a product, produce a product. They need a cooking home in order to legally create their food products because they're no longer wanting to do it in their home.
Okay, so what they do is they contact you. They rent out the space and the time, and you have the state-of-the-art kitchen
facility,
right? Facility, freezers, the whole nine. They come in there and they can blow out this event 3 or 4 times greater than what they can do somewhere else.
Absolutely. Is that the kitchen, the commissary space is designed for them to scale their product up. They'll never be able to replicate the amount of food that they can create in the commissary space or any commissary space versus being at home. And so this is for the next level up from the basic mom and pop food preparation in your home.
Right.
You've gotten to a point where you've got people that always want your food and you're saying, you know what? I want to learn how to scale this business up. I think I can make a go of this. And maybe one day I'll have my own cafe or own restaurant, but I'm not there yet. The commissary allows you to spend maybe a third of what you would spend on rent of your own place that you're not ready for yet by offering you and allowing you to use state-of-the-art equipment at your beck and call. You'll be able to store your dry good items and have your own key to come and go as you want. And then you can use the freezer systems and refrigeration systems to store it properly.
Oh my God, that's an amazing idea. Like that to me is something that I think should be across the United States of America. I mean, you started it here in Philadelphia, but I don't see why that's not something that's in every city or every state in the country.
Well, now America is changing with regards to food preparation and food in general. There are more growing across the nation, but it's slowly on the East Coast. It tends to be in the mid states of the United States and the western portion. But the East Coast coming up, from New York on down to Florida, you're not finding as many, but they are popping up slowly but surely. You got food trucks happening now, so it's the thing now, but everybody, again, can't afford a food truck. Everybody can't afford, their own storefront in order to, or a restaurant space. So they got to start somewhere else. So the next step is from the home. It's a commissary space.
Yeah, and that's what you got.
Exactly.
So, Alonzo, I know you've recently been recognized as one of the top minority business owners in the city of Philadelphia. You want to speak a little bit about that?
Well, actually, Kitchen Corners was honored by the state of Pennsylvania as the first privately owned and minority-owned commissary in the state of Pennsylvania ever.
Wow.
We got it right up in the Inquirer, the Philadelphia Inquirer. I think November 3rd, everybody.
Okay.
So Kitchen Corners Commissary.
Okay.
You'll see us. But yes, we got the state of Pennsylvania actually acknowledged my organization as the first minority-owned. And so it's a big deal, Troy, because commissaries are normally created by the municipalities the municipality that you live in, or universities. No one has ever done their own personal, or if they've done it, they've gotten nonprofit dollars to create something, never using their own dollars. And so I felt as though the future is in food. I believe that feeding the people, the dream that I had about feeding the people is teaching people through the power of food, financial literacy and how to take care of themselves.
Wow. Well, I know that you are a very physical fit guy. I know you eat tremendously well. I know you take great care of yourself. Can you hear me now, Alonzo?
I hear you.
Okay, I think we had a little technical glitch there. We're going to jump right back in here. But I was just saying that you took me to lunch at a restaurant that was like, it knocked my socks off, man. It was the best tasting, healthiest food I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah, and the reason why I took you there was because they had the same concept I have, which is through the power of food, creating a healthy, base type of food product. It happened to be a Brazilian spot that you and I had attended, and they're not overcooking their foods. You saw how clean the facility was,
Yes.
And actually, they're a company that may be doing business with Kitchen Corners in the future. I have a client that bakes cookies, and they may want to start getting these gourmet cookies from Kitchen Corners.
Oh, wow.
To sell to their patrons.
Right. So that's your way of getting your lunch money back, right?
Absolutely. Gotta do it some kind of way. But they acknowledge we partnerships are difficult because you're finding people that have the same thought pattern as you do. And they've come to Kitchen Corners and were blown away with the cleanliness and things of that nature. And I'm blown away with their cleanliness in their facility, which is why, I took you over there, Mm-hmm. So we seem to have kind of think similar, Mm-hmm. And so they're open to wanting to try those cookie products, and we'll see what goes. They have 3 locations in the city.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And there was another corporation get ready to pop up.
Yeah, just to let everybody know they're going to be called Cookies on the Main Line, okay?
All right, Cookies on the Main Line. I love it. So if there's anyone out here that is a chef or is a cook or is trying to start a catering business, this is the guy you guys got to holler at, because he's going to be able to allow you to upscale your business. You can charge more to the customer because you're going to have more product available, and you can do it in one shot. All you got to do is rent the space. So, I want to just give you the shout out to say, hey, man, Alonzo Coates, kitchenscorner.com, at Kitchens Corner, info@kitchenscorner.com, all of that. Check them out. Check them out, because this guy is killing it, man. Everything he touched turns to gold. And I just had to have you on because
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You're a winner, man. You're a winner. And I want to deal with winners, man. So let me just kind of wrap up with this. Why don't you give me some insight on where you see the future for Alonzo Coates? What's next for you?
Troy, I'm 55 years old now, and I'm not saying it's the end of the road for me. I got a lot of life to live, but it's about giving back to the children and giving back to people. And that dream I had of feeding the people, that resonates loudly in my head. And so, we have a for-profit side, which is Kitchen Corners, but there's going to be a non-profit side that I'm working on now, which is trying to attract dollars from the government to teach a lot of our kids who have culinary dreams. They really want it. And there's some kids out there, man, I've talked to, they have some crazy skills. They're all on Instagram and they're just baking. And I'm like, where'd you get this skill from? Oh, I just practiced. I did it on my own. And they just have these thoughts of wanting to be these culinary superstars. Well, I want to be able to give to those kids and let them have an option to be able to use Kitchen Corners for free, or teach, not only teach culinary, but then teach them how to build their own businesses in the future. Teach them while they're younger, to create, to work hard in the beginning, plan, but more importantly, do things the right way.
Man.
It's not just all about the money. Yes, we all want to make money, but your money would be forever flowing if you do things the right way in the beginning and getting that habit of doing business correctly.
Yeah. Listen, I want to just make a comment on what you said. I was listening very intently, and this is what a lot of business people miss, right? Because I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and when we talk about what are some things that you're looking to achieve financially, right? And people say, well, I want to buy another house, right? I want to buy another boat. I want to buy another, fancy car, right? Well, that money doesn't buy you happiness, right? We all know that, right? Because those things may cause you some temporary happiness. But what I'm hearing from you is fulfillment. It's a different word.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
When you can say, I've built an empire, I've created what I need for myself, but now it's time for me to pay it forward. Now it's time for me to go to the youth.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And raise those folks up and create generational wealth. Like that's what it's about. That's fulfillment. That's you doing.
And the money will come by. The money will come by itself.
Absolutely, Lonzo.
Right? The money follows it by itself because you're working in excellence. I think that people don't understand that if you work in excellence, you'll meet more people, and the money will come by itself. I just don't think about the money, because if you're just focused only on the money, you'll miss things that you should have seen.
Yeah, man.
So if I'm working in excellence and I'm helping the multitudes, what's going to happen all together? Because you don't have many people looking at it that way.
Yeah, yeah. That's why you're a superstar, baby.
Thanks, man.
That's why I got you here, baby. Right. Listen, I would love to have you back on my podcast, and I would love for you to maybe reconnect with me on our show. And, as time goes on, as your ventures continue to prosper and grow, and just how God leads you, I think you are extremely inspirational, man. I really do.
Man. Appreciate it.
I just love the way you think. And, you've manifested things that were in a dream. Like, to me, that's awesome. Like that's over my head.
It was over my head at one point in time also, but I think that when you build on prior successes, you start to believe in yourself more. And so for people out there, just set some easy goals for yourself to feel good about yourself, and then just challenge yourself. I bet you if you write it on paper, you'll be like, man, in a year's time, something I thought would take me 3 years, I've accomplished in 1 year. Yeah. So just build that's what I would tell people to do. I've done that in the past, just challenge myself on things that were easy to be successful in. And then I just built on that momentum. And next thing you know, I can tell you nothing about yourself.
Yeah.
You will start to believe in yourself more, and you'll be able to build up that muscle memory like I did. And 15, 20 years later, you're at another spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So listen, we're going to wrap up, but I also wanted to just mention this one thing. I got to mention this one thing. All right. It's a little off track a little bit.
Okay.
My man got some funky cars, guys.
Oh, man, here we go.
My man got some funky cars, man. He turned me on to this Acura NSX, and he came to my office one day. I don't know if he had the red one, I think. And he said, come on outside. I was walking you outside, man. I didn't know what the car was, but it was beautiful. I think you had the T-tops, summertime, the roof. Mm-hmm. And then one other time, he came over for a barbecue, and he had a yellow one. Right? Same car. Well, it's not the same. It's the same car, but it's like a different year, a different model or something. But guys, it's awesome, man. But I just wanted to mention that because just as hard as this guy works is just as hard as this guy plays.
Thank you, man.
Right?
Appreciate it.
And he deserves it, And I just wanted to give you a little props on that, man, because
well, I'm gonna give you some props. Thanks to Troy and Associates, I'm able to leverage those cars for other things in the future if I need to. Yeah. The concept, of course, I like the cars, and it's not about all about leveraging. It's something that I liked initially, but it just happened to be a car that a lot of other people wish they could have. And if anything were to happen and I needed money, I could always leverage those cars because people covet those kind of cars.
Yeah.
And so it's something that I find joy in my heart to drive, but if I needed to let it go and get a big loan on it to make another move, I can do it. So I'm leveraging all the way through, baby.
Leverage, liquidity, control, right? That's what we talk about, right?
Yes, sir.
OPM, use other people's money, right? That's it. Well, that's who you are, baby. That's why I got you here. Listen, Alonzo, I know you're busy as heck, man, but I just thank you for this time that you gave me to share your story with my audience, man, because it's very, very inspirational. And I hope some people actually reach out to you, and I would love for you to, catch up with those folks when they reach out, and just continue to be a blessing, man. I want to wish you all the luck moving forward, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just continue to win, brother. Just continue to win, man. And that's what it's all about. All right.
Thank you, man. Right. Appreciate it, man. And go Eagles.
Oh, here we go. Just for clarity, okay? The Eagles will be playing. This is 2023. The Eagles will be playing San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Today's Friday.
Right.
For the NFC championship to go to the Super Bowl. So he's only saying that because I'm a 49ers fan. And all my buddies, including Lonzo, have been giving me so much crap this whole week. It's ridiculous. So when we beat them, I'm going to get my revenge, all right? So stay tuned. We'll find out who wins.
We got a plan to take your gold chain from you, too, bro.
See, they love me so much. I tell
you. All right, brother. Good talking to you, man.
Signing off, but just one thing I want to just mention. I want people who are listening to share this podcast with people you know, people you love, and people you trust. Because our philosophy is that we want to help our clients have a healthier, a wealthier, and a much more safer retirement. Until next time, I'm signing off for Wealth Strategies to Value. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.